All right, so I finally got my AEM water and meth kit. Um, I went with the AEM system over like snow performance. A few things I liked about this one better than snow. I got a 5-gallon jug here. I wanted to have enough fluid where I'm not having to worry about running out. One reason why I wanted AEM with this 5-gallon jug is, for one, it's clear. If I put the fluid in there, I can see it. The snow performance, their tanks are all black. I don't want to trust a sensor to tell me I'm low, and I don't want to have to check it constantly. I want to just be able to look back and see if it's got fluid in it or not. So that's one thing that won me over about this. I did go with their boost juice. I figured, I'm not really in the mood to have to do windshield washer fluid. Sorry if I'm spending this much money on a water meth kit. I really don't want to be going with windshield washer fluid. No telling what's in it, regardless of what people say. I'd just rather have something that's geared towards it. So, and that'll show through my tank pretty easily. I like their controller here. It's just a couple knobs. I mean, you've got your test, and then basically it's just your when you're going to start spraying and when it's full on. And I've had a lot of people tell me that, hey, I don't really need the progressive controller. I can just have it turn on full blast. I'm good to go. Problem is my turbo is really big. I don't know how well that would do with it not spooling up till full boost until around 7,000 RPM if I'm on the street, and then have it turning on full blast at a low boost. If it's going to take a little while, I'd rather it progressively come on. I am going to use my tuning program for ECM Link, which is what I use. I'll go over some of the fail-safes things I'm doing. I've got some of my parts here. I had to order this. This did not come with the kit. It's the little cleaner, or not cleaner, filter. And so that way, because I don't want any junk getting in my nozzle and clogging up my nozzle there. So it's got the little filter inside there, filter out any contaminants. So the only thing I don't like about this filter here is that there's no mounting surfaces or anything on it. It is directional. I don't know if you can see the arrow there, but so it's going to be traveling this way. I'll just have to make sure it's in the right direction. And I think what I'm going to do, because I'm going to make a mounting bracket for my tank here, I'm just going to drill a couple of holes in the bracket, and I'll just put zip ties over on each side. That'll be easy enough to secure it down. So that's what I'll do there. I've got a couple different nozzles. My piece where it's going to plug into my tank, where my line comes in. Pump. I mean, some of the stuff's self-explanatory. I do have a LED in there. I'll probably use that. I know some people use a switch to turn it off and on. I'm not going to do that. If I'm running it, if I'm going wide open throttle, I'm always going to have the methanol injection in there. I'm not going to have on or off. I'm just going to have it running full blast all the time when I'm in wide open throttle, and I'll just I'll tune everything with my tuning program for the fail safes, but I'll go over that, and of course the harness, so on. Not rocket science as far as what these things are. You can see for yourself. One thing I will say, this part right here, I did try and scan that because I was curious. I was trying to look to see if I could actually buy this. I have not been able to find it, so I figured I'd scan that. Said the page couldn't be found, so I'm assuming this little fail-safe system from AEM is not being sold anymore. So that's probably obsolete. I don't know why they're even selling it, or sending it to me if they don't sell it. So I don't know. I'm not going to use their stickers. My instructions here, because they don't send the instructions with it, but I can also find them online if I'm not using the little code there, because not everybody can download that with their phone. So, but you can find the directions online, which I've already looked at that. As far as the controller, I've seen some people have these mounted on their dash, like above the radio. I don't know how they're doing it. Looking at the pictures, I thought these slots were a little bit bigger, so I was thinking I could just make a panel and put a bolt through it and maybe bolt it down, but looking at it, it's a lot smaller than it looks on camera. So I'm probably going to fabricate a little bracket. I'll probably have a little piece of metal behind it and maybe rivet it. I think I'm going to rivet this over where my airbag is on the passenger side, because I don't have an airbag there anymore. It's just the cover. So what I may do is have a piece of metal behind this, and I'm going to rivet to the dash possibly, and then have it folded over where I just slide this down and into that piece of metal and be secure there. I don't think it's really going to be moving around a whole lot. And then of course putting in my the harness and my my vacuum hose for the boost reference there. So but let me show you what I've got planned as far as making a bracket for this. Go over some of those things. What I will say is that I'm still waiting on a few parts. I'm waiting on a solenoid. One of the things that I do here is that meth injection kits aren't safe. I've heard of people hydrolocking their motors because the fluid keeps running out of the nozzle into the pipes, and then they have all the pipes in there. It goes into the engine and causes engine damage. So I was talking to Jaffro on his YouTube channel about it. I seen where he had made a video, and asked him, and what he's doing is running a solenoid to keep the fluid from, I don't know if he's running it, but he mentioned it, running a solenoid where it cuts off the fluid from the solenoid. I guess these can leak inside. I haven't opened it up yet to look, but I guess apparently it can keep leaking into the pipe. So if you've got a solenoid, it'll stop that fluid. So I'm going to get a solenoid as close to that nozzle as I possibly can to shut off that fluid flow. I'm not going to trust the system to just shut it off and not have anything dripping in there. So that'll make it a little bit safer. What I will say is that I've seen a few videos where either they're leaking at the hose here, so I don't know if I can change that. I'm going to look. I'm going to take this out. I don't know if I can put a fitting in there to keep it from leaking if it does leak externally. If it does, I may just swap to a Snow Performance nozzle if I have problems with this one. I'm hoping I don't, because I like the flow pattern from what I've looked on other YouTube videos. I like the flow pattern on them, and I prefer just to keep it all AEM if I can, other than just the boost juice from Snow Performance. But I do have a nozzle holder on the way. I just don't know if I have to use one or two nozzles with their systems in that regard, because their nozzles may not flow enough for what I need. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to shoot it for the 1,000 horsepower mark. I am going with the meth injection kit. I'm kind of fed up with E85. My filter's being clogged. I've sent off my fuel injectors to Fuel Injector Clinic, which should be back today, having those cleaned. $100 a pop to get them cleaned. I don't care for having to do all that all the time. I don't want to have to buy the injector cleaner system, $200 or $300, whatever. I don't care to have to do that. That just gets old. I don't want to have to do that. Your injector duty cycle will be running higher with E85 as opposed to doing this. The gas mileage sucks with the E85. Having to travel just to find it, the quality not being the same all the time. So I could run pump gas. I don't have those issues. I don't have to go looking for it. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it's going to last a little bit longer. The different issues I'd have with the E85, I'm just tired of all of that. So being able to find it and the quality being the biggest things. I don't run my car all the time, so I don't want to have to worry about it going bad. It's absorbing water from the atmosphere. I've run at the track and had a bunch of knock, and just because the fuel's been sitting there and absorbed the moisture, and then put in a new tank, it's good. I want consistency all the time as far as what I'm going to be running. So the startup issues where it may be hard to start. So those are things I'm going to be doing away from, because I can have the pump fuel. It'll be running like normal. And this right here, I won't have the problems. I can run with the pump 91, pump 93, whatever the case, and then still have like race gas performance or similar to E85 by using this, and it's only on when I need it. But I figure I'd get a bigger tank so that I don't have to worry about running out anytime soon. I'm going to have it there for a good little while. I'm going to make a bracket in the back of my car. I'll show you what I've got planned in that regard. This will probably be a part 1 video, just because I don't have all my parts yet, and plus I've got to get it installed. So the results, things of that nature, the tuning that I'm going to have to do, keep my engine from getting hurt by using it, and so on, things to be looking out for. So I'm going to take this out to my car. I want to see what it looks like there, but I'll show you what I got in mind. So it's a crappy rainy day outside, but good day to be doing automotive work, I guess. So in the garage at least anyway, since I have nothing else to do aside from work. So anyway, I've got my tank out here. This is where I'm basically going to have it installed. And as you see, I've got one little panel I had to make over there because I've cut my floorboard. This was a front-wheel drive car when I got it. It's all-wheel drive now. And I've kind of hacked this up a little bit because my fuel line's sitting up a little bit, so I'm going to have to make another panel there. So I've got to get that done first before I can get everything installed. But being that I don't have rear seats, this will make life a little bit easier for this tank to fit in, being that I've already got a battery relocation in my nitrous bottle. I don't really have a whole lot of room. I really don't want to set a 1-gallon tank back there. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of I've already spent about $100 in just metal to make my bracket, but I'm going to get a little angled piece of metal here, and I'll have a piece of metal that's going across. So it'll sit about like so, if you can see it, about like so. I'll have to show you after I get the bracket made, and then I will have the pump probably on the front side and running forward in that regard. And yes, I need a roll cage in here, but I haven't gotten to that just yet. I want to at least get it running first before I'm worrying about a roll cage. So and then probably what I will do, watch out Molly, sorry my dog's in the way, but probably what I will do, I will have my controller probably mounted right here. I'm gonna have to fabricate something. I'm gonna have to look and see what's behind there. I can't remember, it's been a while since I've had that out. And have that mounted permanently there so I can see it, because I want to be able to check the stat. I want to be able to see if it's flashing at me, give me any codes. I don't want to have it hidden somewhere where I can't see what's going on. So that's the plan there. But let me get my bracket made. I'm going to go ahead and get the tank installed and see what all I can do as far as getting everything else done. I guess wish me luck. I've got a few other things I've got to do. Waiting on my parts. I've got some pipes to replace my intercooler pipes and so on. But let me get busy. Let me go ahead and get that tank installed. Alrighty, so after a trip to Home Depot and about $100 worth of metal, finally got my bracket done for my 5-gallon tank. This is gonna basically just bolt down to the back. Where this is where the well, you'll see that little cross member. It's got a couple screws that'll go there and there, and this right here will bolt down to where the seat belt brackets were in the middle, where the back seats were. So happy with how that came out. Just a few nuts and bolts and a little bit of metal and a little bit of elbow grease. Got myself a nice little sturdy tank, and I'll bolt that down there and we're good to go. Now I just got to throw it in there and get everything else going, but at least that's the first step. I feel a lot more accomplished now, so having that done. So. All right, so I'm working on my bracket for my container for my fluid for my meth kit, and decided to fill up my fuel tank. I got fuel leaking out of here. I'll leave politics out of my video, but with the gas prices going up, I had some jugs of fuel with E85 that I need to empty so I could fill up with some pump gas for my daily, and figured I'd dump them all in here, and I have fuel leaking all over the place. I'm like, what in the heck? I just riveted this little panel up here to kind of clean this up, because this is what I was trying to cut before, which I never finished because the front wheel drives don't have the access panel here, but I never finished it because I ran out of cutting disc to cut that off. Well, kind of looks like crap just looking like that all the time, so I'm really hesitant as far as cutting that the rest of the way off and cleaning it up. Probably going to take these little doohickeys, the little shears, and cut that piece off. But anyway, go figure. As soon as I'm riveting that panel down and I fill it up, I've got a bunch of gas. So come to find out, this wasn't even on there all the way, so go figure. So I'm glad I found it when I did, at least. So now I'm having to go ahead and cut this off. Luckily I have the new one of these, just happened to lay it around. Hadn't even opened it, so I'm gonna have to change that sucker out and get it put back in there, and then see if I can repair that plate that I got out. Maybe get some better rivets, because they weren't in there all that great anyways, or maybe make a new panel, something, and get that sucker fixed. But doing pretty good on my bracket as far as my meth tank. I'm going to work on that, but my car is parked outside. I want to get this done. Excuse me, get this done so I can push it inside, finish working on that. But I can't work on it inside my garage if I got all these gas fumes filling up my garage. So I got to fix this. It's supposed to be pouring down raining tomorrow, so I can't do it out here. So that's what I'm out here doing now. So anyway, I'm going to get back to cutting this sucker off, replacing that gasket in there. It's all swelled up with the E85 and probably just being old over time, but I'm gonna go ahead and fix that real quick and then get back to my meth tank bracket. So I got my float out, cut that little piece of metal off with my shears. A little hesitant on doing that, but I looked down in there, see all this wonderful crud down in there. So I think here very shortly, after I test it, make sure everything's running good, I think I'm gonna have to drop this tank, probably drain every bit of this fuel, drop the tank, and clean this tank out. Fun. Always something, but I guess I'm going to think positive, keep on rocking and rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and get the sucker back on there, at least to replace this gasket. But nice and helpful to have a nice clean tank. So, and that's all back together. So debating on what I want to do, if I want to cover that up right now, because I'm going to have to fiddle with my wiring. So I got my legs all spread out. I'm kind of stuck in the back of my car here. I don't have a whole lot of room, so trying not to get cut up, but I'm gonna have to do something with those wires. So if I cover that up, I can get my wires out and then be able to drop this side as well. So it's gonna be fun trying to figure that out. So I'm probably just gonna go ahead and get my meth kit in here, probably just leave this open for now, because I'm gonna have to get that fuel out ASAP. But hopefully I can run it just long enough to make sure everything's good before I start sucking up all that dirt. But at least this is back in there now, looking nice and clean, and shouldn't be leaking. Just trying to clean it up real nicely. Got myself a nice little gash there. I'm gonna sit here and make sure nothing's leaking there real quick, then get back to working on my bracket for my tank for my meth. So alrighty, so I got that bolted in, fits in there nicely. Still a little wet over there where my fuel tank was at. I think I had a little bit of residue from where the fuel had gone up underneath the sheet metal, so I had to pour some water in there to try and dilute it some, because my garage is smelling a little gassy this morning. But anyway, probably gonna mount my pump over there off to the side, but at least my bracket is all bolted in and nice and tight. Takes up that whole little spot between the back seat and the spare tire wheel well. So I like how it turned out. All right, so this is one of the little brackets I made, because I'm having to make brackets to mount this stuff. This is the filter for the meth kit, and basically what I did, I went in Home Depot, got a few pieces of metal, just basically put it in there, drilled a few holes that I needed. I got 4 holes through this piece of plate, and put some zip ties in it to hold it down, and it's not going anywhere. It's real nice and sturdy. Of course, you may not be doing the same thing as me. You may not even have the same kind of car if you're watching this video, but if you have the same kit and you got this filter, you might need a way to fasten it down. I'm just trying to give ideas, if anything. So if I can get it in here so you guys can see it. It's a little dark, it's at nighttime, but basically all I'm doing, I may have to get another picture of this during the day, but if you can see, let me try and see if I can flip it around. I basically got it mounted to the side. I've got one screw I got to put in right here to hold it down, and a little nut up here at the top. So let me see if I can go around to the side, and I'll show you. But also at the same time, I made a mount there for my pump motor. I'll have to probably get that during the daytime, but I'll try and get a better angle here. I know I'm all over the place, sorry. Let's see. But anyway, I'll probably have to get that in the daytime. I'll have to take another video. But one thing that I will recommend getting is this is just a little Harbor Freight metal bender, and this is all I'm using to make my brackets. The big one that's holding the tank there, the whole thing I made, just this little metal bender, some drill bits, and some shears, some hand shears. That's all I'm using. So just in case it helps, gives you guys some ideas. But I'll try and take more pictures of it in the daytime or video, and go from there. I just want to at least show y'all what I was doing for the meth filter. So. All right, so I have my brackets made for my pump and my filter. Going to my tank. Still got to fabricate some panels to cover up those little holes there, and I need to run my line from my pump up to my intercooler piping, and then work on my wiring. I'm currently working on my controller for my meth kit and the mounting of that, so about done there. Alright, so I'm about done with my meth kit installation. I'm having to run 2 nozzles for my meth kit, and if you watch my boost leak test video, problem I didn't like was that with my flux core welder I was having leaks around the welds here, so I put a bunch of JB Weld, and it really looked ghetto and I didn't care for that, and it did the job, but I didn't like the look of it. And I said that, you know, eventually I'm going to swap it out. Well, it's time to swap it out. So this is where my, I believe this was my intake temp sensor, or no, I'm sorry, that's where my nitrous bung was at there, and I have my intake sensor here. And on this one, I decided to put them all on one pipe. I'm going to have my 2 nozzles here. I'll have my nitrous here, and I'll have my intake temp sensor here. I know some people put it before the nozzles here, but I'm wanting to measure my actual intake temps. So if my nozzles are going to cool off my intake temperature, then I want to know what that temperature is. So I've got my nozzles before this. Hopefully I don't have any problems with my my sensor here, being that it is going to be spraying water and methanol into the cylinders, and I figured I'd leave this one alone. I get these pipes from frozenboost.com. They probably love me because I'm always having to buy new pipes because I'm always changing my setup. So hopefully this will be on the car for a while. But anyway, I just got to get some thread tape, or the thread sealant. Probably get the liquid stuff. I'm all out. I didn't realize it, so I'm going to get that, throw it in the car, and this part of it will be done, and everything will be complete once I test it out, other than I'm waiting on a solenoid. Today is the 26th, I believe. I've got a solenoid on back order that doesn't ship out until the 1st, so April 1st. So once I get that, and everything will be complete, and then I'll start spraying the methanol. Until I get my solenoid, I'm not doing anything. I'll keep my lines off of here because I don't want to take a chance of it leaking water down into my pipes and causing a problem there. So I'm going to wait until I get my solenoid before I actually do anything. So, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get it in the car, and trying to get it ready for some test hits tomorrow. So hopefully everything goes there. Alright, so this is my last video for part 1. I've still got my testing and stuff I got to do, and operations, see how everything works. Still waiting on my solenoid to get here, which will be tomorrow, but this is the most I'm going to do on this video. So I finished up my plate. I had to end up using bolts instead of the rivets. The rivets were kind of sucking and they were pulling out, so that's not going to do. So drilled a hole. You just used a hole saw to cut through my dash, but I kind of figured it's probably going to hack it up, and I was right, so I'm glad I went and got a bulkhead fitting. I can't remember the name of it, so I asked around on Facebook, found this one on, I just Googled it, and I can't remember where I bought it from, but I figured clean up the installation a little bit more. I'm probably going to not use this as a progressive system right now. As far as that's concerned, I know this is when it will start, and this is supposed to be the full spray, and I was looking at the instructions to not use it as a progressive. This just has to be on after this one, so that'll turn on full blast. So I'll try that and then see if I can maybe use it as a progressive on down the road. Sorry, my dash is a little bit dirty. The car's been sitting in the garage for a while, so I got to dust it off. But anyway, so I've just got it set as such right now. I think I'll probably have it about the 15 or 20 or so as far as where it's going to come on. I'll try and see what I can do with my tune then, and then go from there. So, And then this is the, I've made some adjustments. I had the pipe originally. If you remember, I said I had my nitrous sensor here and then my intake temp sensor here. Well, I'm trying to make some runs, some test hits last weekend, and my temp sensor was reading about 4 degrees with the nitrous. So it was a little bit too close to this at the end of it. I thought of the end of the nozzle is kind of angled. Let me see if I grab that real quick and I'll show you. All right, so get a little light on the subject, but this is my my nozzle that I was using, single nozzle. If you can see, I'll try and use the turbo as the background, but you can see how it would spray out to the side. I thought that'd be clear enough to clear my temp sensor. Obviously that wasn't working, so I have my buddy Timmy weld another bung over here right underneath my blow-off valve, and I'm converting over to the wet system, what this was originally set up for, because I can't seem to get enough fuel with the dry at a 75 and 100 shot to do what I need. So the wet, I figure, will give enough fuel. But anyway, just waiting for my solenoid. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it yet. Probably over here somewhere, because I want to get as close as I can for these nozzles. But I'm probably going to have to get it somewhere in this area. And I want to kind of pull this back a little bit so it's not so just, I don't know. I just don't like that round loopy look. Looks like it was just kind of laid in there without much thought as far as how it looks. So, but that's just me. But anyway, that's really everything so far as the install. I've got the one wire here that is going to be hooked up to my solenoid, and I got a green wire for us, a boost safe wire. I think that's to cut boost, and I guess it grounds out. I don't know the actual operation of that, but it'll ground out to the boost control solenoid to where you go to low boost. I guess if there's a problem with the pump or something not working, so I still have to wire that in as well. So, but other than that, that's everything for the install. Not too bad. Main thing that I hate is the wiring. Everything else is pretty simple, other than having to fabricate some mounting parts. As far as the bracket for the tank, a bracket for the pump, and a bracket for the filter, because it doesn't come with any of that. So, but other than that, I knocked that out. So long as you can get something done like that and be creative, you're good. But anyway, that's it for this one, and I'll try and make another one in regards to the AEM Meth system as I can. So anyway, stay tuned.